Hello.
Oh,
welcome back to the marathon.
Yeah, we're having a great time. We just had a bit of a break. Get some food, get some water.
We finished the last episode around 5:30. It is now just past 6 o'clock.
Yep, we're ready to go.
We are going ham. We are
today.
like what, 5.5 hours into this now?
Yeah, it's too much. Honestly, that's all right. I feel rejuvenated after that festival scene. That felt really good.
It's like nearly 6.5 hours because we started at 11:30.
Yeah, it's too much. Point is, this is a long day. On the one hand, I'm looking forward to getting the end of it. On the other hand, I'm looking forward to getting a happy ending because everything's going well and nothing will go wrong from here, I'm sure.
Yeah, I completely agree.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I remember you telling us about that. God damn it.
Do we get points for that? Surely we get a point for that. Oh, you get a point. I'm calling it. We get a point for that.
If the
Nobody was indicated.
If the sprites moved and we weren't looking,
then minus 10 points.
Edit,
or, 10 points
in the edit, minus 10 points.
Either way, editor's choice.
Editor's choice. Wow, that's the first time we've ever given us that.
Look, Felix gets a choice. He will take 10 points off us, or do you want to give Richie 10?
We did once ask editor Felix to count the number of words on a page.
That doesn't count. That's not a random thing that is decided upon. That's just a fact that we couldn't do in the moment.
All right.
Let me get into character. Yes, I remember you telling us about that. But why? Why do you think Takano-san and I will be murdered?
My. Frankly, it would be an honor for us to be the victims of the 5th Curse of Oyashirasama.
I agree. As I'd expected, they didn't really take me telling them that they'd be killed off on the night of the festival seriously. They did keep their promise to tighten up my security after I showed them the ritual storehouse. However, they hadn't given one thought to their own safety. Oh well, like I said, I didn't expect them to believe me. If they were willing to take me seriously, I could have easily changed their fate a long time ago.
I like that change in the dialogue. They're like, I could have changed their fate rather than just, yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm only going to tell you this one more time. Tomitake, Flash, you're going to claw out your throat and die. Takano, you're going to burn to death on top of some mountain.
I will say,
yeah,
like, just imagine having this as your grand master plan. Like, here we go, we're gonna go to this mountaintop, and I'm gonna be set on fire in an oil drum, and he's gonna claw his throat out, and then some kid just coming up and spouting it to you, and you're like, what the fuck?
What is that? Can they see the future?
How did this?
How did they know?
This get of all people to a child?
Yeah, that'd be great. Speaking of, I'm going to claw out my throat, like the terminal symptoms of L5. Don't worry, I took the shots. I don't have the disease.
What happens to me is horrible too. I'm going to burn to death on some mountain. Did you have a dream about that?
I just want both of you to be careful, at least for tonight. Please, listen to me, even if you don't really believe it.
Did you have an ominous vision about some danger befalling us, perhaps? Don't worry. You're under the protection of the mountain dogs. You've had 8 security guards watching you today.
Thank you very much. I know I'm being protected, but I want you guys to be careful too.
Is that the first time that we've had the mountain dogs confirmed as like security, or was that earlier this arc with Sadako?
I think it's been mentioned before, but yeah.
Yeah.
A thing that exists.
Because I think it came up when they were giving Sadako her shots earlier in the hospital, but I don't really remember because that was ages ago.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? There's so many mysteries and not enough answers.
That's why I get to edit these things.
That's true. You can tell us in the second recap what was actually happening. Thank you for your concern. We'll be fine. I've even been working out. I think I can protect myself.
Wow, look, he has been working out.
Yeah, he has. In the new sprites, he's looking fine. Tomitake Flash flexed his biceps and smiled. He was probably trying to make me feel better, but all he really did was make me feel sadder. This is the sad part about being me. Damn, that's like the first entry in a diary, for sure. This is the sad part about being me.
Yeah.
State number 1. I know the future, but I can't tell them. It is as if that was a rule of the world. People tend not to believe what I tell them. But you are going to die. Tomitake Flash and Takano die. I'll be killed next. If the two of you are dead, who will protect me?
It sounds like you had a horrible dream. Don't worry. Even if we die, the mountain dogs will still protect you.
Are you really sure they would? They've never protected me before.
That's not true. They've saved you when you got in a fight, remember? They're watching you at all times. Of course, they aren't on alert at all times, but Just as you requested the other day, the security around you is still extremely strong. We even have a better security team than Dr. Irie.
They'll keep on protecting me even after you die?
Of course. You're the most important person to us.
There you go. So you're sure that we're getting killed tonight? Oh, that's too bad. If you have no intention to survive, then I only have to worry about myself. My words must have left a mark on his heart. He looked much more serious after I said that to him. Good grief. Okay then, I'll be extra careful tonight. I'll take a security guard with me when I'm going back to Okinomiya. I think someone might attack the two of you if you're alone together. Make sure not to be alone with each other tonight.
My, are you jealous?
Woo.
You're such a precious girl.
Terrible. Like I thought, I can't change their fate.
Gee, I wonder why.
Because it's fate, dude. Fate can't be changed.
Fate.
There's one thing we've been told in this story. It's that fate is as strong as like 1,000 pieces of paper stacked together.
I mean, listen, Ben.
That's how fate works.
Dean and Ufotable did prove that fate could be changed.
It's true. That's terrible. That's not even funny. That's just bad. Cut this. Awful. Awful. When we saved Satoko, everyone shared the same sense of urgency. That's why we all got together and saved her before it was too late. However, these two have no sense of urgency at all. How can I make them understand? I sighed and gave up. Tomitake Flash, Takano, goodbye. Thank you for everything. Hey, wait, Rika-chan. I had nothing else to say to them now. Instead, it might be worth talking to somebody else. If I could get someone else to protect me, I might be able to change something.
Protect them, Ben.
Them.
It's an important distinction.
There you go. I can't give up yet. Fate is as thin as a piece of paper. It's just like the lid on a jar of jam. Why do we need two metaphors? Whatever. It's not going to open unless you believe it will. I have to believe that I can change my fate. If I don't, it's not going to change. Tomitake Flash-san and Takano-san, are you sure about this? I've told Irie about this so many times in the past. Irie tends to listen to me more seriously than Tomitake Flash and Takano do. However, that doesn't mean that he can actually do something about it. I'm the Shrine Maiden of Oshiosaman. I have a bad feeling about this. Is that not a good enough reason? Oh, I understand. It might be a message from Oshiosaman. If that really happens tonight, it would be the 5th time in a row. I'll tell the two of them to be cautious too. All Irie would end up doing would be warning the two of them, which was exactly the same thing as what I did. In other words, it wouldn't matter in the least. Irie is just a researcher and he has no ability to deal with unexpected trouble. That's why Takano works for him after all. Please, talk to them. Please. Who else would treat me seriously? Who would be able to prevent Tomitake Flash and Takano's death? That's right. There's one man, the best character, who's been fighting the Curse of Oyashirasama with all his might.
It's Zuishi.
This boy. What do you mean? You say that like there was any sort of mystery there.
Well, in fairness, this arc, it could have been Keiichi.
No!
If we broadened the definition of the curse.
He has not been fighting Oyashirasama all his life. He wasn't even in the town until like a couple of weeks ago.
No. Well,
no.
You have to remember that a life is just the time that Rika
No.
is reliving, so thus it is true.
No, this is bullshit. Everybody call this man out in the comments.
Besides,
If you're not,
Ben,
reacting to
are
other
you
shit.
telling me
What?
that the logical conclusion of this storyline isn't Rika realizing her friends are going to help her save them?
No, Uishi's going to save her. Uishi, the best character, is going to
Sure,
save
Ben.
Rika.
Sure,
That's
Ben.
where this ends up. That's where the plotline goes.
That's right, because friendship has
'Cause
been
that's what
entirely
we need.
unimportant.
We need a person with a strong will to smash fate and all that stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
So Uishi, he's
That's right,
the biggest
that's
of all. Oh, it's Verde-san! Oh, I've been looking for you. Gazaka-san wanted to say goodbye. I guess he and I are not meant to be.
Wow, cute.
You're still upset about last week. Gazaka-san really regrets that he wasn't able to help you. He says he'd love to come back to Inamizawa again when he next has vacation.
But unfortunately, he already left.
He will be heading to Communist Russia now to fight insurgents. But his wife took it personally. She's very pretty, his wife, but she could be scary too. No. Oishi, I have something important to tell you, but no one else believes me. Well, I certainly won't. What's the matter? I've spoken to him several times in the past too. He usually takes me pretty seriously. However, after they die, he starts suspecting me. That's why I stopped talking to him.
Where did you hear that? Where at the festival?
I told him that I heard someone talking about murdering them in the crowd. That way he might not be suspicious of me after the murder really happens.
That's
It's clever.
Is it really,
It's
though?
not very direct, but it's clever.
Is it really clever?
It's indirect.
Is it clever?
She says she's tried just outright telling him before and it hasn't worked. So maybe this will
I feel
work.
like just being like, oh, I just heard it. That's still super suspicious to me.
It is suspicious, but who's going to suspect a 9-year-old girl or whatever of being a
Apparently
mastermind
Oishi.
criminal? I'm just saying. Whatever, dude.
I mean, it's not like Rika is just a 9-year-old girl. Ignoring the bullshit time travel bullshit.
Bullshit, but yes.
Exactly. She supposedly has many villages under her sway, so if she's like, yo,
Sure.
kill them so we can trick Oishi into thinking that there's someone else working behind the scenes, Uishi might believe that.
Yeah, maybe.
He'd also believe that a child maybe wouldn't have a grasp on, the importance of life.
Yeah, it's true. I will say, it is interesting that we saw in Arc 4 in Himatsubishi that Rika was able to manipulate the other villagers into covering for her and helping her out and like when she was cutting the phone lines for Akasaka. I'm surprised that she hasn't gone up to some of those elderly people and been like, hey, I think I might be killed. You want to pull some strings? Maybe the whole village could help out. That'd be cool.
I mean, I feel like the assumption is that she has in one timeline or another, but she's given up on it.
Maybe, but it's not addressed right now. That's all I'm saying. Tomitake Flesh Sand is not from around here, and with Takano-san that makes 2 people. One is going to die and one is going to disappear. This could be the 50th Curse of Oyashirasama. I can't take this as anything more than rumor, you understand, but just in case, we will keep our eye on the 2 of them tonight.
I think they were saying they were going to attack them somewhere between Hinamizawa and Okonomiya. Tomitake Flash's blood will be found on the road leading out of the village. From what I remember, he's discovered where the concrete road turns to gravel.
I see. I will have cruiser patrol around there. We can spare that at least.
He agreed to get involved, and he wasn't suspicious of me either. I'm sure it seems odd to people that Oishi actually believed this phony-sounding story of mine. The thing about Oishi is that he strongly believes that there's no smoke where there's no fire. I've learned from experience that he tends to believe my information. However, that personality of his has caused me so much trouble in previous worlds. Of course, there's no question why he's so eager to believe me either. This is his last chance to expose the curse of Oyashirasama before his retirement. Even if it might be fake, he still wanted to believe it. That was convenient for me since I couldn't show proof.
Hey there, Gum-chan. You read? Can you hear me? Have cruiser patrol road back to Okonomiya, please. No. It's just precaution. I heard the rumor that something bad might happen around there tonight. Yeah. 2 officers would be fine. Thank you.
Thank you. No one else believed me and I didn't know what to do.
It's my job to believe these things. We'll just be glad if nothing happens. Be happy to swing and to miss. Well, that's what my late colleague used to say. Besides, it's even worse if you ignore what you've told and don't take precautions, you know.
I see. That's his way of thinking about things. That was why he believed me without question. I hope he won't consider me a suspect after they find their bodies tomorrow. I shouldn't worry about that now. I can still do more. Who else should I talk to? Should I talk to my friends? I can't give up. I should at least try.
No way. You heard someone talking about that. On the day of the festival, that's so wrong.
You mean the curse, right? You're talking about the Curse of Oyashirasama that might happen tonight.
Yeah, that curse.
Yes, it's happened 4 years in a row. Lots of people think it's going to happen again tonight, too.
Let me explain the Oyashirasama curse to you, Keiichi.
What they believe is their business, but it's not nice for them to talk about Tomitake-san and Takano-san like that.
Wow, my voice is not having it.
That's all right. That's all right.
I think that break has not done me well in my upper register.
Oh, it's because you literally was like, there's a little bit of Takano, and then it was all me up until this point.
Yeah.
You need to get your Keiichi voice back, honestly.
The Keiichi's fine. It's just that
You know what I mean? Like, use it as warm-up.
I suppose.
way
I
around,
suppose.
yeah.
All right, let me just get right into that.
Get
then.
into there.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that sounds pretty good to me. Speaking of, I think you should talk to them about it just in case. I already did, but they didn't believe me.
I bet they didn't. But it's too late if something really does happen. I think you should talk to Oishi-san.
I already did.
Huh, I'm kind of impressed you've done all that, Rika-chama. I agree they should take every precaution, especially tonight. A series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, commonly known as the Curse of Oyashirasa.
Are they actually going to explain it?
I really don't want them to keep happening every year. Somebody might end up imitating it, and it's bad publicity for the village, too.
It's true.
So if nothing happens tonight, it means the curse is over, right? We should definitely make sure that nothing happens then. What can we do? Are you suggesting that we should patrol around the village or something?
Not a bad plan.
I think patrolling might be even more careless. Do you really think we can do something about this? For starters, there's a chance some deviant trying to imitate the serial murders might be within the Watanagashi Preparation Committee, so let's be wary of any unfamiliar faces. Watanagashi, rather.
It's easy for us to tell strangers apart from the locals. We can spot them right away. I think we'll be fine. But Tomitake, Flash, and Takano will still be killed. Rika-chan, all right, let's try to do what we can.
I agree. We can't protect them all night, but let's stay with them at least until the festival is over. As long as we're there, the bad guys won't be able to do anything to them.
I couldn't tell if they really believed me or not, but they listened to me at least. We decided to keep our eyes on Tomitake, Flash, and Takano and protect them for the rest of the night. I guess I've done everything I can now, though it's hard to believe this is enough to prevent their deaths. I just have to hope nothing's happened when I wake up tomorrow morning. Oh, wow. Do you think you can prevent Tomitake, Flash, and Takano's deaths, Rika? It might be impossible. Their deaths might be the bell that portends my doom.
Ah, you don't say.
My doom. Oh, wow. But Takano told me earlier that even if they die, the mountain dogs are supposed to keep protecting me. They might begin more squads from Tokyo, too. Even if they die, the situation will be different this time. Well, what if it still doesn't work out? Then I will just have to die. Anyway, I'm not going to give up until the very end. I'll struggle to my very limits. I won't give up and spend the rest of my time drinking wine. Do whatever you want to do, Rika. You still believe that nothing is going to change on you? I don't believe anything. It's only fate.
Lame.
I keep getting hurt because I have hope, huh? If I am an actress trying to get up on the stage and you as a real bystander, we have very different opinions when it comes to this. I've noticed. Rika, no matter what happens, don't give up. That sounds like you're convinced that nothing is going to change. Lately, the things you say have been pissing me off. I understand. Hanyu keeps telling me not to get my hopes up because she cares about me. Because I hope to defeat fate, I get hurt when that hope is betrayed. And the more I get hurt, the closer I get to losing my mind and disappearing. For Hanyu, that means losing her only friend. Losing me is probably the most unbearable thought for Hanyu since she has to live alone, unable to communicate with everyone else. I now believe that fate can be changed. Even when I didn't have that faith, I still believed that eventually I'd find a way to get out of this maze. Just like the frog. Just like the frog from the well. And
I got it, Ben. Thanks.
Just for the audience.
Oh, okay.
Not for
You calling the audience dumb?
I know that you understand the entire story. No, I'm just saying that you're the smartest man alive, and I know that you already know everything about the story. In fact, you are Ryukishi himself, so it makes sense.
It's true. I never have seen Ryukishi in the same room as me.
I haven't, and I've seen you plenty of times.
That's right.
So it's Hempel's Raven, I think.
That's right. Ryukishi has never made an announcement during a recording session of ours.
I don't know. Somebody check that. Where's Epic?
Never once have we gotten to the end of recording, Ben's opened up his Twitter and gone, oh, something new's been announced.
But I don't open up my Twitter very often. I only read it at lunch breaks at work.
Ben, don't poke holes in this argument.
I'm just saying.
You're going to find a lot of them.
It doesn't mean you're not Ryukishi. It just means I've never seen an announcement happen from Ryukishi at all.
Which was the point. And look at you. You've just poked holes in it, and now the water that we've poured into this glass is pouring out.
I think you mean the wine?
No, Ben, we're young children, and drinking wine is irresponsible.
Nah, I mean, you get drunk real quick when you're young, so you might as well drink early. It's less expensive.
I see. So Rika's alcoholism is more a financial decision than
Yes.
anything else.
I mean, yeah, she's a tiny body. She admitted herself. She's like, yo, I only need like a little bit diluted with some cordial. It's all good.
Wow.
I don't know where she gets the wine from. She probably steals it. Let's be real. Or she's like, I'm going to carry the wine from this old person, and then she just goes.
I mean, listen, the Furudo house / shrine is probably just
what, you're right.
a big wine cellar.
You're right. There was a hidden wine cellar. That's the real mystery that I want solved. If you can solve
That's
the
what
mystery
Takano's actually after.
the Rika's wine.
Yes.
It's the best wine ever existing.
But because Rika's a child, she doesn't think that Rika actually knows or has access to
That's it. That's it. It's some good Germanic, good quality wine.
That's right.
Perhaps Hanyu knows something I don't. I might just be a goldfish inside of a fishbowl, or a frog in a well, or a fish in a small pond. There might be no way for me to escape my fate of bad fish metaphors.
Or a corpse stuck at the bottom of a swamp.
There are a lot of bad animal metaphors and corpse metaphors in this.
Okay.
That's right. They're good stuff.
We're stuck alone inside of a fishbowl, yet every day I knock on the glass, believing that I can break it someday. Hanyu keeps telling me that I'm wasting my time. If I get hurt and die, she would have to survive all by herself inside the fishbowl. With that, I think I finally understand our difference of opinions.
That said, if you had a ghost living in your fishbowl, you got bigger problems.
Hanyu has lived for a much longer time than I have. Because of that, she understands the laws of this infinitely spanning world better than I do. No matter how much I refute Hanyu, I can never refute the truth. Even so, I still have to believe in my own faith. I believe in a spear that will pierce the heavens, the wall of fate.
Oh.
My faith will make that spear sharper than ever. And more spirally. We found Tomitake Flash in the crowd and struck up a conversation with him to keep him around as long as we could.
You should draw on his shirt, like that one time.
Got him.
However, as soon as the festival ended, they tried to leave. If they left now, I'd never see them again. And I wasn't having none of that shit. Mion tried insisting they stay at her house for the night, but Tomitake Flash refused. Everyone tried various ways to stop them from being alone because the murderer might be around.
Goodness, where could they possibly be?
However, we eventually started to believe that they wanted to be alone for adult reasons.
Yes, like murder.
And I wound up suggesting that we shouldn't interrupt the two lovebirds.
Rika's the one who suggested that? Damn. Don't worry, Rika-chan. Tomitake Flash is a man after all. I'm sure he'll do anything to protect Takano-san.
Ah, yes. Bold of you to
she's
assume
the
that's
one who
the
needs
problem.
protecting here. Damn, girl.
Wow. Is that so? If something happens, you'll rescue me, right?
Damn right. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. That's the plan.
Hold on, can you do that again, but have a longer pause for effect before that's the plan?
That's the plan.
There we go, that's much better.
There you go. Keep both takes.
No, I'm leaving the discussion in as well, Ben.
Good. That's the main thing.
Good.
Well, we really should go
Just
now.
cut the actual
damn it.
lines.
The lines are like, you should do that again. Pop. Just cut to the screen.
Well, we really should go now. It's getting pretty late.
Thank you for your concern.
Don't make any assumptions. I'm heading to the clinic because I left something there. Takano-san has the key, so we have to go together. And stay the night.
Ah,
in
yes,
an abandoned
making out
clinic.
in the company locker.
Yeah.
Classic rom-com move.
I mean, look, there are beds there, and there are nurse outfits. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Also, Shion's here to back me up. Shout to Shion.
Oh, I didn't know that you were into playing doctor.
Yeah.
No, I think he's more into playing gynecologist.
Oh. Oh, gross. Oh, God.
Sound effects.
Crash, bang, wham. How? I wonder how they played doctor. I wonder.
Who just got injured?
Mion and Shion.
Did they?
Yeah, they got punched in the damn face.
By Renna?
Yes.
Who then continued the euphemism?
Yep. That's her character at this point.
Okay.
She punches people and she's like, oh, I don't understand, Uku. Even though she's, a total.
Don't hit them
total
just
pervert.
because you feel embarrassed. And as for you two, stop only getting along when you're making dirty jokes.
Can't help it. That's how twins are. Goodbye, everyone. I really am just going back there to get what I forgot. Don't follow us, okay? Oh, oh. God damn it. Read a best girl.
Tomitake, please. Flash, be careful.
I do think you're overreacting, Rika.
Woo.
Everyone laughed when Setiko yawned.
I
because
fucking didn't.
It was adorable. It seemed like a good time to call it a day. It doesn't feel like I was able to change their fate.
Correct.
I just hope that they pay attention, that they're prepared for whatever's coming to them.
Oh, don't
whatever
worry,
faces
they definitely
them.
are.
Whatever faces them.
Whatever could possibly
Whatever
be
could
wrong.
face them. It could be anything. Shout out to Chapter 8's banner art character.
Shh.
I still might
Not allowed
have a
to say that,
chance.
Ben.
I have to. I have to be controversial in this show. Otherwise, what am I here for?
Ben, people might think that you
They
told me
shouldn't
that
change
other
it.
than
It's
I
the
figuring
best
it out.
banner art character
Oh.
ever. Don't even change it. I still might have a chance. All I can do now is pray.
Goodbye, Tomitake-san.
Shh.
Please show us the pictures you took next time.
Which pictures? Make sure you wear your punishment shirt.
Man, I'm so jealous you get to spend a night with a pretty lady in a hospital. Whew.
God damn it, Keiichi. See you guys again. I guess it'll be in fall.
That's if we don't get killed tonight.
Which we won't.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night. Good night. That was the best I could do on the night of Watanagishi. There was nothing else to do.
There was nothing else.
Except to hide Tomitake's camera.
There couldn't possibly be
Please
anything
tell
else.
me what happened. Tell me what happened this night. It's like a box with a cat inside. Please tell me what happened this night. I don't even know if the cat is alive or dead inside the box. Tell me what happened this night. The cat in the box is dead. I don't know that we needed that foreshadowing, but I'm happy for it.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Frederica Berncastel.
It's a good name. All right, and now we're following Tomitake for
Oh, are we?
Yeah,
Okay.
it seems like
I
it.
wasn't expecting this.
No, here we go. Tomitake Flash gathered up his paperwork and slipped it inside his bag. They sure were persistent. I wonder if they really want us dead.
How rude of them, huh? It was only a dream.
Please, make sure that Dr. Ira examines Rika-chan. Her nightmares might be a symptom of something. If anything happens to her, it would be a disaster. Takano touched Tomitake Flash's hand gently. As he turned bright red, Takano moved in closer and spoke. The way she acts is just too sexy, Tomitake Flash thought.
Yes, she brought the
bell
bells.
chimes. The bell chimes are here. The ominous bell chimes.
Hey, Jiro-san, I have something very important to tell you. Will you listen to me?
Oh, this seems fine. What is it? You have something to tell me too? I hope you didn't see me claw at my throat in a dream.
What would you say if I did?
What? Takano stared at him with a mischievous look as if seducing him, and started whispering into his ear.
I'm really surprised. That girl might have a godlike power after all.
What does that mean? I mean, what does that mean? Takano smiled gently and pulled back her hair. Even seeing her do that made Tomitake Flash's heart race.
I really like you.
That's good to know. Takano's fingers curled around Tomitake Flash's chin, stroking, tickling, and caressing. Her movements were very captivating and seductive, and I would say distracting.
I've dated a lot of guys, but none of them interested me as much as you. I've learned that someone with a personality like yours makes the ideal partner for me. You're willing to accept everything I stand for. I believe you understand me completely. That's why I can give you everything I have. I want you to accept everything about me. Do you understand?
Takano-san, what is the matter? Her voice didn't really sound that affectionate. Tomitake Flash knew from experience that he couldn't grasp what was on her mind when she wore a cold smile like that.
Finally. It's almost here.
What's always here? It almost seemed as though she couldn't wait for something to happen. There was a chilling allure to her strange smile that made one question if something exciting was really about to happen. Or maybe it'll just roll credits. That'd be great.
You fucking dare.
That's right. I promise
Don't
you.
you dare.
I promise you that won't happen.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I have to promise you, otherwise you'll just die. You'll just die if it just ended here. Don't worry, you'll enjoy this. What's almost here? Tomitake Flash asked, trying hard to resist the temptation.
The day my dream comes true?
Your dream?
Yes, my dream. Didn't I tell you before? Or do you forget about everything we talk about in bed?
Oh no.
No, I remember your dream.
Tomitake Flash's response was vague. Either he didn't remember or he hadn't understood it very well.
Finally, the Curse of Oyashirasama is going to come true. That's what I've been dreaming about ever since I was a child. Jiro-san, listen. I can't be with you anymore.
What? What do you mean?
You see, I belong in a different world. Inamizara is where humans and demons once coexisted. That's why we met each other here. But all that is going to come to an end soon. The eclipse of the sun brought humans and demons together. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, she crazy. She crazy. Takano-san, did you drink a bit too much at the festival? You're drunk, right?
Tonight is a night of farewells. Thank you for teaching me about the sunlit realm. Your warmth was like the glow of the midday sun. You really did have a wonderful relationship. I'm so glad that we have to say goodbye.
Uh-oh. She pulled herself away from Tomitake Flash and slowly stepped back, as if signaling the time had come for them to part.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Are we breaking up? Is this normal? What's this all about, Takano-san?
I want you to make a decision. I want you to decide to stay with me and abandon the sunlit realm. If what you told me was all true, then I know you have no doubts.
By that time, Tomitake Flash understood that Takano was asking him to make an important decision.
Could it be you're...
That's right, Jiro-san.
Tomitake Flash got up from his seat and looked Takano straight in the eyes. There was a faint glimmer of hostility within those eyes.
Is your work more important than me? I thought so.
I can't believe this. I trusted you.
Those words were ones of rejection. Takano's lips twisted into a cruel smile.
Oyashirasama united the humans and the demons, but I guess he can't unite you and me.
Oh boy. Takano slowly opened the door. 6 men in overalls were standing there at the ready. Tomitake Flash was frozen in shock. The 6 men walked up to Tomitake Flash with no expressions on their faces. It was immediately obvious that they were going to do something to harm him.
What is this all about?
Inamizara syndrome is like a bomb with a lit fuse. Your plan is to dismantle that bomb before it explodes. However, there are some people in Tokyo who want to see it go off.
No. What good will that do for anyone?
Nobody ever does anything that isn't beneficial to them. Therefore, if they want that bomb to explode, it must be doing good for someone. Your question just now is a pretty meaningless one.
As a fallacy. I can't believe this. There are people who want that to happen? Inamizara syndrome is a very dangerous disease. You know that as well as I do.
I do. It would be a disaster if it had an outbreak. Tokyo wouldn't be able to cover it up either.
Did that faction bribe you?
It was actually my mission from the very start. I'm so sorry. We belong in different worlds from the moment we first met.
What are you going to do to me?
It would be a great help if you came over to our side. Of course, that would mean you'd have to betray your own people.
You're expecting me to turn on them?
Shiro-san, if your feelings for me are real, will you support me? You'll be compensated, of course. If you wish, I'll dedicate my whole life to you. I'll do whatever you want me to. Whenever and wherever you want. My body will belong to you. You can dominate me to satisfy your needs whenever you like.
Damn!
I'm willing to be all yours. Hey, don't you want to dye this body of mine in your scent?
Her words were a kind of assault, directly hammering at the emotions men had difficulty resisting. They were like an evil spell to control his heart. Upon hearing them, Tomitake Flash felt an unknown sensation rush up his spine as his feet froze in place, entranced. However, he forced himself to resist this temptation. He sealed the cracks in his wall of reason to stop Takano from forcefully entering his heart.
I refuse.
She had known from the start that Tomitake Flash was going to refuse her. Even so, Takano let out a triumphant laugh. It's funny. She thought Tomitake Flash would refuse right away. However, it took him a while to refuse because of how effective she was at seducing him. The time it took him to refuse her was one of victory for Takano. Tomitake Flash, it was a time of humiliation.
Takano continued to laugh. She sounded rather like an evil witch.
I thought you would say that. That's why I love you so much.
Takano raised up her right hand and gave a signal to the mountain dogs. Okanoki-kun, you're betraying me too? I'm sorry, Lieutenant Tomitake Flash.
I'm shocked. Who could have seen it coming
It's
that
me,
the garden
Okanoki.
eating boy was...
The garden guy is, in fact, a crazy man, apparently.
Are you surprised? The mountain dogs work for me? It was us who controlled this clinic all along. You and Dr. Irie are the only people who didn't know.
Shit. Tomitake Flash moved into action, sensing the danger that was about to befall him. Come on, military boy. His fist thrust out as quick as lightning, knocking one man down before he could even blink. However, the other mountain dogs certainly weren't going to just stay there and watch. They all attacked him as one. He tried to strike back with an elbow, but he simply couldn't overcome the difference in numbers. Tomitake Flash tried his best, but soon enough, the mountain dogs had wrestled him to the ground. Damn it! Let go! Let me go! Stop struggling already. Ah! They pinned him down so he couldn't move an inch.
Impressive, Jiro-san. You fought pretty well considering you were up against 6 people.
Takano walked over and smiled while looking down at Tomitake Flash.
Hey, Jiro-san. I know you're going to refuse, but let me ask you one more time. Will you change your mind and join my side?
Never. I'll never join with you. Ah!
That's what I wanted to hear. So I could sever all my attachments.
Correct. Correct, Tomitake.
Takano was holding a small case in her hands. She opened up and showed Tomitake Flash what was inside. What's in that syringe?
Oh, come now. I'm sure you know what it is.
No, we destroyed all of them.
Jiro-san, let me guess what you're thinking. Even if this is what you think it is, you should still have immunity because you took the vaccine. Isn't that what you're thinking? That's why you're not scared, right?
Oh no.
Well, let me tell you something nice. That vaccine you took before you came here was fake. You may not have noticed it, but you're already an L3 patient of the Hinamizawa syndrome. Jiro-san, you have a tendency to look away when you get an injection. That's not very smart. You should always make sure of what you're getting.
Got him. Shit! Let me go! Let me... Tomitake Flash struggled to get away, but he simply couldn't move. Upon seeing his sorry state, Takano laughed with glee.
I'm sure you know very well about H173. You'll become infected instantly, and will virtually become an L5 patient. You saw how the experiment turned out, no? The subject was displaying extreme irritation in the neck and armpit areas. Based on our past studies, patients with L5 suffer from extraordinary irritation in their lymph nodes. Might be an antigen-antibody reaction. In other words, Jiro-san, if you're lucky, you might be able to die just as Rika-chan predicted. Are you going to kill yourself? Become disabled for life? Which should you prefer? Which one, Jiro-san?
Damn. Stop!
It's going to be too difficult to give him the injection like this. Put him to sleep, please.
One of the men covered Tomitake Flash's mouth with a towel soaked in some kind of chemical. He tried to fight it off with all his might, but his strength eventually left him. He became as quiet as a beached whale. Takano stroked his face to make sure that he couldn't resist, and she brought the needle toward his throat. She pushed it right into his skin. As she squeezed down on the syringe's plunger, the skin surrounding the tip of the needle swelled up, and eventually the contents were absorbed into his body.
Goodbye, Jiro-san. When you wake up, you'll be in the middle of a wonderful nightmare.
Oof, big oof. The mountain dogs finally got off of him. He couldn't even twitch.
Someone put him in my trunk.
2 of the men lifted up Tomitake Flash and carried him away.
Oh, hold on. I'm sure he'd be happy if I left him his bicycle. That way he can enjoy cycling in L too.
The mountain dogs all quietly laughed at the joke.
We are now going to commence Operation Doomsday.
They stopped laughing as she began to speak.
Okanoki, you wait for the contact from headquarters. Keep your eyes on Dr. Irie. Also keep tabs on Rika Furude too. I don't know what kind of power she has, but she predicted how Tomitake was
Flash.
going to die. I'm very curious about her, but too bad.
Roger, I'll take care of things here. Please, be careful on your way.
There's not much to be careful of. By the way, where's Dr. Irie?
I'm sure he's attending the festival's after party. He's still at the shrine.
I wish I could see the look of panic on that nerd's face.
Wow, call him a nerd, Takano. That's the most evil thing you've done yet.
I agree.
Damn. Mountain Dog started laughing again too because they were jocks. It's their job to bully the nerds.
That's right.
Damn. Takano checked the time on her watch. It was nearly 10 p.m. Most people must have left the festival for home. Those people still there were probably enjoying the after party or getting drunk inside the shrine. It was a good time for her to leave without being seen by anyone.
I'm leaving now. I'm going to go and die.
After saying that, she left the clinic alone to die. She left through the back door. She left amid the moonlight, the singing of insects, and the sound of a river. It was a typical night in Hinamizawa. While enjoying all these sensations, Takano got inside her car. Tomitake Flash was sleeping inside the trunk. His bicycle, on the other hand, was loaded into her back seat.
How ironic. Your bicycle has a better seat than you. I'll let you out of there soon. I should leave him by the road that leads to Akinomiya. That'll be a good spot.
At least there's room in the car if you want to pick up a passenger on the way home.
That'd be cool.
Takano found a good place to drop him off, but she gave up on it as there was a police cruiser parked in the area. She figured that they were probably patrolling to make sure the 50 years curse didn't happen.
Good job, officers. No one would ever suspect that there's a curse packed in my trunk right now.
One curse, please, Takano. Takano drove onto less lit streets with rougher roads. Eventually, the mountain road ended and she was surrounded by darkness. There were rice fields nearby. She could tell by the sound of the croaking frogs. Takano parked her car by the pitch-black roadside. She had to stop here, otherwise she'd be too close to a residential area. Right where the concrete turns into gravel? Indeed, she was nearly in Okinomiya. She would have dumped him earlier, but the police cruiser had followed that plan. Takano pulled Tomitake Flash out of the trunk and left him by the road. She also left him his bicycle. Tomitake Flash let out a small groan. It probably wouldn't be long until he woke up.
Goodbye, Jiro-san. Your awkward sweet talk was very entertaining. I wish I could hear it again. You'll be waking up soon. By that time, you'll be in the final stage of L5. After a futile struggle, you'll meet with a miserable demise. I wonder if you really are going to claw out your own throat and die. I wish I could be here to see it. Your mysterious death and my disappearance will complete the 50 years Curse of Oyashirasama. The story of the Curse of Oyashirasama will be firmly established. You should feel honored, Jiro-san. You're going to be a part of history. Might be losing your life here, but in a way, you're going to live for eternity.
Nice. That was her last farewell to Tomitake Flash, the fastest character in the game. Takano got back inside her car and started driving. She could see the place she left Tomitake Flash in a rearview mirror, but it was already shrouded in darkness.
Wow, she's going to Shion's school.
Oh boy, wasn't that the view coming back from Shion School though?
Yeah, but it's a tunnel, and she could be on the other side of the tunnel, you know?
I guess so. Pretty sure we saw that truck going that way though. What's the truck going back to Shion School for? Who knows?
Well, I mean, they've done their delivery, now they're going back the other way.
Oh, I guess so. It all makes sense. Takano drove through the main street of Okinomiya and made a few turns, heading for the dark mountains in the distance. It had been a while since she left Hinamizawa. It was almost midnight. She might have already made it to the neighboring prefecture. It was difficult to tell because she couldn't really see anything in the darkness. Takano stopped her car in the middle of all that. After turning off both the engine and the headlights, there really was nothing but darkness surrounding her. It was as if time itself had stopped. Takano wasn't sure how long she waited, but eventually she saw the headlights of a car blinking twice. She blinked her own headlights back at it. Soon she saw several people walking toward her. Two men wearing blue overalls knocked on the window of Takano's car. Obligingly, she opened it. They looked over her face and the paperwork they had in their hands.
Hello, I'm Takano.
After confirming her identification, they called someone over the radio. Do we get to do some mook voices? Hello, we've got the lady. Anyone following? No one is after you. Oh, you're clear for 400 meters. Nobody's following us. Your work is much appreciated. Please, go with us to the command vehicle. I'll take your paperwork.
The paperwork is inside the trunk. Here's the key. I do need some coffee. Could you get me some?
To the command center we go. I hope you're ready for this. The command vehicle was a trailer with a bunch of high-tech communication equipment
I'm
inside.
going along with this, but there is a fire.
Okay. There's communication equipment inside.
Can I take the narration if you're going to do the mooks?
But I like doing the narration. Do you want to help me with the mooks?
Okay, I'll help you with the mooks. Then. You just took both of them from me.
All right, we'll switch then.
Okay.
Next time we'll be sure to switch. The light of the electric equipment shone beautifully in the dark. Here's your coffee, Major.
Major?
Now the man in blue overalls offered her a paper cup.
Thank you. What's going on with my corpse?
They've finished setting it up in Gifu Prefecture.
Gifu? Did I burn to death in the mountains of Gifu?
I'm not too sure about the cause of death. I'll confirm it with someone. I kind of love the way they talk about it, like kind of casually, like,
Yeah.
How did I die? I don't know. Let me just like ask someone. Let's find out. Operation Doomsday. That was the name of their mission. The goal of the operation's first stage was Takano's escape from Hinamizawa and the extraction of 18 specific classified documents. That goal had been completed. Assassinating the liaison from Tokyo, Tomitake Flash, was also one of the goals. That one had also been completed in the way Takano had planned. He was not killed that way just because Takano had wanted to see it. It was intentionally planned that way so the office in Tokyo would be suspicious of the Irie Institute. They were trying to create the story that the Institute was upset with the recent budget cuts and the cancellation of their study. Tomitake Flash's mysterious death would be a suitable way to persuade people. Tomitake Flash was not the only one who was expected to die. Takano was expected to do so as well. However, Takano didn't really need or want to die herself. They had acquired a substitute body for her, so she didn't have to actually die. Takano had no idea how they got the body. According to what she heard, a team in Gifu took care of everything. Once Tomitake Flash and Takano were dead, Tokyo would definitely grow suspicious of the Irie Institute. The main purpose of this mission was to make the Institute look reckless. I'm sorry, Major, there's been a problem in Gifu.
A problem? What sort of problem?
Here we go. They made a mistake with the corpse. The body has already been dead for 24 hours.
I see. And what's that supposed to mean?
It means you were already dead yesterday.
Like in Watanagashi.
Takano's body was supposed to be selected from the corpses of people who had died the same day. The plan was to then burn the body and make identification of the corpse more difficult. They'd found a suitable body for the plan, however, they just found out that it had been dead for over a day. That would create a hole in their plans. They're going to collect another body to use instead.
No, that's fine. We can still use that body as me.
But that would mean... Nani?
The messenger of Oyashirasama was long dead, but came to the festival regardless. That's a good one. That's a very, very good one.
Aha! Takano laughed with satisfaction for a very long time. The other people in the vehicle couldn't understand why Takano was laughing so much. Takano continued to laugh as if it was the funniest thing she'd ever heard.
Go ahead. Call the team in Gifu and tell them to stop looking for another body. I think this will make for an interesting twist.
Are you sure? Shouldn't you be more cautious?
Oh, don't worry. Everyone saw Mio Takano walking around at the Watanagashi festival. Even if the forensic lab does find out the body's been dead for more than a day, they'll just think the test results were wrong.
Takano almost seemed to be enjoying the risk. Roger, I'll notify them.
By the way, was my body burned inside of an oil drum?
Yes. It seems somebody already discovered it on the mountain near the freeway. Takano seemed surprised to hear that from him. Then she started laughing strangely again. Nobody could figure out why she was laughing like that.
I see. The reincarnation of Oyashirasama really is gifted. I have to admit, she has a supernatural power that defies explanation. Tell the mountain dogs in Hinamizawa to tighten up security on
Roger.
Major, the Akinomiya Police Department has discovered the body of Tomitake.
Flash.
Oh, they have her. The show is about to begin.
There we go. It's time. Come on.
Oishi-san, Dr. Irie has arrived.
Oh, thank you for coming! There's ominous music playing. Normally it is silent during this part. Very strange. What do you think, Dr. Irie? Oishi entered the area enclosed by a blue tarp. In there, people from forensics were taking pictures of the dead body from various angles. Irie was squatting down next to the dead body of Juro Tomitake Flash. When he stood up, he was white as a sheet. I can't believe it. Yep, I can't believe it either. As far as I see, clawed at his throat with his bare hands. Ugh. This isn't the normal way to die, Doctor. Most likely some kind of dangerous drug must have caused it.
You're saying he was a drug addict?
I don't know, was he? It's going to be my job to find that out. Oishi-san, what's this 2x4 doing here? I think he was swinging it around like crazy and then he threw it away and he had more fun glowing out his throat, I guess.
Why was he swinging the 2x4 around?
He probably did it in self-defense. Did you notice there are several external injuries on his body? Yeah, I couldn't see some bruises. The easiest explanation I can think of is this. He was attacked by someone on his way home to Okonomi at the festival. He was seized by the culprit given a shot of some kind of dangerous drug, went crazy, and died on the spot. I've never heard of any drugs that can make people claw at their throats, he said convincingly. I'm not expert on it either, but they say self-harm is one of the terminal symptoms for drug addicts, right? Well, I am sure the old man in forensics will take care of investigation.
Excuse me, Oishi-san. We found a bicycle believed to belong to Jiro Tomitake a mile away from here.
Oh, is that so? Well, thank you. Did you find anything on it?
Not yet. They're investigating it right now.
So that means the place where the bicycle was found is most likely the place he was attacked, and he ran away from the culprit and came here. Oishi frowned, crossing his arms in front of his chest. Irie was looking at the miserable corpse of Tomitake Flash, and he kept saying the same thing. It's impossible. Just impossible. Irie knew right away that Flash's death, Tomitake Flash's death, was caused by the terminal symptoms of Hinamizawa syndrome. He hadn't swung the 2x4 at a real person, but probably saw some kind of hallucination due to the L5 symptoms. Violent reactions to hallucinations is one of the clearest characteristics of the terminal stage. However, Tomitake Flash supposedly took a vaccine before he came to the village. There was no way he could reach L5 symptoms in such a short period of time. Irie didn't want to believe it, but it was obvious that someone intentionally injected him with the pathogen. The pathogen must have been strong enough to give him L5 symptoms immediately. The only drug that can do that is H173, a chemical weapon that induces an acute onset of symptoms. It makes people hallucinate, which inevitably leads to a horrible death. It's the absolute worst kind of demon. However, they had destroyed all of it due to its dangerous nature. All that was left were helpful chemicals such as vaccines and treatment drugs. Tomitake Flash was their liaison for Tokyo. Whoever killed him must have had full knowledge about him and this drug. How would that person know he was their liaison? It was then that Irie thought of Takano. Takano was also a watchdog from Tokyo. She's something like a superintendent. It's quite possible that something bad had happened to her too. What about Takano-san? What happened to Takano-san? What? Oh, are you talking about your nurse lady? I think she was here with him. Is she okay? Do you know her phone number? Of course. No, Kuma-chan! Get her phone number from Dr. Irie and have someone at the station call her home.
Understood. Doctor, can I have the number?
Yes, here it is. Kumagai got the phone number, repeated it to make sure he got it right, and dashed out of the blue tent. Doctor, Takano-san and Tomitake Flash-san were close friends, weren't they? Yeah. Have you heard about any troubles between them? No. Not even once. They were very close friends. Tomitake Flash and Takano weren't just in a close relationship, they were co-workers sent from Tokyo. They had access to information that even Irie didn't. There's no way there was trouble between them. It was impossible. Well, I hope she's alright. In the worst case scenario, she could be dead or she could even be the pup. I see. Nurses do have access to dangerous drugs, don't they? We don't have any drugs like that at my clinic. Even if we did, we'd store them with extra care. There's no way Takano-san could smuggle out a drug from my clinic. But it's easier for nurses to do it than for regular people, right? Like I said, I've never heard of a drug like that, and I don't have anything like that in my clinic. Irie made clumsy excuses while he tried to piece together what was going on. However, Irie had no means of knowing the state of affairs in Tokyo, and he couldn't reach any further conclusions. So it was easier to laugh at him, as though he's a frog trapped in a well.
Oishi-san, she isn't home. The standby unit says they're going to go to her house to check. Doctor, can you give me her address?
Chan, can you also check if the police headquarters has found any unidentified female bodies tonight? Maybe we should check with the other prefectures too. Get the section manager to call all nearby prefectural headquarters and ask if they have any unidentified female bodies.
Yes, sir. The Akademiya Police Department is contacting the Gifu Prefectural Police Department.
Are you sure about this, Major?
Sure, I don't mind. Just leave it there. Doomsday has almost arrived anyway. Everything will be destroyed before they even find out the time of death doesn't match.
Time for the doom of the day.
Hooray, I
There we
love the
go.
doom of the day.
Yeah. So, it's time for secret organizations and bioterrorism.
That's right.
How do you feel about this? Do you want to talk about it now? How you feeling?
I don't know. I almost feel like I should let my boiling point boil over later, but
Okay.
I don't know, I guess.
Do you have first reactions?
It's like, it's kind of what I expected it to
Yeah.
be, but like cheesier and not in a good way.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot cheesier. I almost wonder if this beat of the story works better if you haven't like figured things out, so it's more of a surprise.
I guess it has to, because like, you know, the whole, oh, this is H173 evil monologue,
Yes.
monologue.
Here's the thing. I want to let you know, I made some references to Resident Evil very early on in the playthrough, and like that's very much how that sequence feels. Like, I'm going to cause the Doomsday with the Hinamizawa syndrome and the H173T virus and the like, yeah.
I mean, it's like
heavy
even,
as shit.
even just calling it Doomsday, it's like, surely,
It's very on the nose.
surely if you have some secretive military plan, you're going to give it a
A
code
nickname, like a place or like, you know, a parent name or something stupid like that, you know, whatever.
You know, because your documents get stumbled across, and then you're done
what's
in
this
for.
Doomsday thing? Are we the baddies?
Exactly.
Like,
It's
I hope you're ready because it's only gonna get way sillier.
yeah. I mean, I was pleased that Tomitake and Irie
Relevant?
were unwilling accomplices.
Yeah.
I don't know where my like final judgment lay leading up to here, but like the thought had definitely crossed my mind that they had no idea what was going on, because especially earlier in this arc they seemed very much along with things,
Sure.
and because there was like no question about Tomitake's body in any of the arcs,
Yeah, sure.
it makes sense that, you know, he would actually be killed, and then it raises questions as to why, so it ties around nicely.
Sure.
But like, not to say that it hasn't been foreshadowed, because the fact that I'd figured it out clearly shows that it has been.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the fuck is this powerful friendship-based story ending with like some over-the-top spy novel shit?
Yeah, that's literally what Higurashi turns into.
It's
It
like
gets very, very silly at the end, is what happens.
that entire past chapter reads like a fan fiction of Higurashi.
Sure.
Like, if someone was to come along and tell me there were 6 arcs and then was like, here are these 2 extras, I would assume these were fan-made, because this is like jank as fuck.
I mean, look, there are detractors of both Higurashi and Matsubayashi. It's definitely part of the reason why, like, for me, Arc 6 is the emotional climax, and it's the moment where everything is worked out. And usually when you like end a story at the emotional climax, you don't have anything after that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we did it. We beat Dr. Doom, and now the world is saved and we can go back to our normal lives until the sequel. Whereas this is like, we beat Dr. Doom, but not really.
Yep.
And like, that's part of the interesting factor, because it's a time loop story. So it's like, we did it, but we didn't actually. And that's like the point of a time loop story, is that you think you figured out the time loop, but you actually haven't.
Yeah.
That's a trope of plenty of time loop stories.
Totally.
But you're right in that tonally, like, especially this is a consequence of Ryukishi in the way that he like repeats things and draws things out. Like that scene where, you know, Takano is like, I'm super evil, I'm gonna inject you with the thing. And then we cut to like Irie, who's like, yes, we are from Tokyo and there are these drugs and this is what they are. And like, it explains it over and over again, and every character's like really exaggeratedly like reacting to it.
Yeah, I think particularly not having any foreshadowing of like, you know, H173 or whatever.
Specific, yeah.
I think that giving this faction no plausible motive other than
I mean, there's hints of this like Tokyo thing, but it doesn't really matter.
Tokyo sounds like they're invested in, you know, treatment and a cure. And what it probably seems like to me is that it's either the government trying to like make sure that they can get this vaccine working on a very isolated case for some reason. And it's probably going to end up being some bullshit like, oh, we can weaponize the fucking, the bacteria pathogen. But like, we have no plausible reason for that to be the case. It's just kind of an excuse for the story.
I think that, I mean, God, I think that it definitely does get a little too like broad in scope at this point in the story. I think that's the criticism I think it's the best way of putting it actually, which is why there is an OVA that is called Outbreak, which is, I would call it an alternate timeline that goes even broader in scope than the regular 8 arcs. I won't spoil it, but I kind of hated it. Like, this is hammy enough. We don't need to go further. You know? Like, yeah. No, I still appreciate Higurashi, and I still like this ending. I still enjoy the finale, but you're right. The scope is a bit much for this, like, and, self-admittedly silly story.
Yeah,
that
I think the thing that annoys me the most about it is that it so clearly has been somewhat adequately foreshadowed that something like this was going to be the case. And it's incredibly annoying that having foreshadowed something decently enough that it, you know, tripped at the final hurdle. Like, you know, this background setting of the suspicion going on with Takano and Irie and Tomitake could have been so compelling, and then at the first reveal they just threw it out the fucking window with Takano's evil villain speech.
I mean, they've literally like just explained everything, right? Rather than it being like, yes, now we'll kill Tomitake, knife in the back, that's it for the scene, and then we're like pondering like the rest of like, but like why? But like explain to us. She's like, now that I have you, I will deliver my evil villain monologue while you are being held down on the floor, and it's gonna be great. So yeah, like I enjoy it. Like I like Takano as a character, and I think you'll enjoy the ending of this. But there are some pacing issues.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm looking forward to it. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going. Indeed. We'll see you next time.